Vice Mayor?
Yes, I move to put a motion to put an item on next week's agenda to pursue formal censure and sanctions against Council Member Meyering for ongoing violations of the Code of Ethical Conduct and Council Policy.
Is there a second? Councilmember?
Yes.
Okay. You want to speak to it?
Either we condemn this behavior or we're condoning it. Enough is enough.
Councilmember Whittum?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I oppose the motion. I think it obviously not helpful, not constructive. I'll just say on the previous item, I think Councilmember Meyering's concerns were certainly reasonable concerns to raise and open up the discussion, understand a little better the agenda item. And I have to say I welcome close attention to each and every agenda item. And I didn't find that those remarks were out of order. I certainly respect the mayor's desire to maintain order, but I think that Councilmember Meyering had legitimate legislative points to raise. Turns out we disagree about the validity of some of the assumptions. I think really the larger problem we face as a group is how to work together, and I don't think that the present motion actually is going to help that at all. It'll probably make it a little bit more difficult. So I hope you will not favor that motion. Thank you.
Councilmember Davis?
The behavior of the council, continues to concern me. I made a motion several months ago in regard to putting together a retreat where we could discuss issues and try to find ways that we could work together. I agreed with the city manager that at some point, because certain people couldn't come and the date of the retreat had to be moved towards the end of the year, that it was probably wise to go ahead and wait until January to do that. In as much as Councilmember Meyering, taking a position that's adverse to other members of the council, we have to respect that right. The First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States gives him the right and the ability to speak his mind and talk about issues that are important to public policy. I don't necessarily agree with Mr. Meyering on some of the issues that he's brought up or the way that he conducts himself. But as I have said before, and I will say again here tonight, that I will support Mr. Meyering's ability and to speak his mind and make his opinions known to the public. And I hope that my fellow council members, while understanding that they too may not agree with Mr. Meyering's way of doing business, they do need to respect his right and his responsibility to represent the people of the city of Sunnyvale as he sees fit. And I am very sad that we have to have this kind of discourse. I am embarrassed by the fact that we have to have these kinds of flare-ups on unfortunately a fairly regular basis. We do have to learn to get along, and we need to start being respectful of each other, and we need to be cognizant of the positions that we take, and keep ourselves in line with the ethics and the procedures that are outlined and are expected of public leaders. I thank you very much for your time and consideration. That ends my remarks.
Councilmember Meyering?
Yeah, this motion really spotlights for Sunnyvale residents and taxpayers exactly how the council is operating. If anybody disagrees with the majority tries to bully them and claim that they have a right to make a vague claim about unethical behavior, when the public in general perceives, and rightly so, that when you take money from a proponent, it's unethical to vote on that donor's proposal. And bringing that to the attention of the residents is very disturbing for the majority, and in fact they'll interrupt, so you can't even make a presentation of your point of views, and then seek to bully the individual by saying we're going to have some type of motion for censure. So residents should come down here. You pay for this building, you pay our inflated salaries as well as the salaries of the staff, and you should come down here and tell the council members what you think about this attempt at bullying someone who's willing to talk about what the facts really are.
Yeah,
Councilman Davis and others, I have no objection of anyone having an opposite opinion on an issue. What I get tired of is that when we're talking about a particular issue, it leaves that issue and goes off onto a tangent and accusing council members of taking money, and the only reason we're voting on it is because we happen to know or visit somebody. There's always this implication that we are being dishonest. And I guess after a while that's not fair to his colleagues. I ask you, and I ask all our council members, to kind of stay on point, because we owe it to the community, we owe it to the people that are here, to stay on point of the subject matter. I don't have any problem with any member disagreeing on an issue of why it shouldn't be or why it shouldn't be. But when we get off into all these things about council members helping someone make profit, and that's why we're doing it, it's an insult to the folks that put a lot of time and commitment to this position, doing the right thing on a daily basis. So that's the frustration. The interruption is to ask you to stay on point, and so we can deal with the issue at hand. That's the reason for the interruption. I think it's important that when we do our work, we stay on point. We can have disagreements on why we support one item or don't support another item, but to continually accuse members of council and staff of doing something wrong is wrong, and that's what I object to. Councilman Moylan.
Yes, it's disappointing to hear Councilmember Davis pose this as we're not allowed to disagree. As you all know, I've joined Councilmember Meyering in dissent on a number of land use items. It has nothing to do with disagreeing. It has to do with not accusing colleagues of being unethical, which is a gross violation of our code of conduct. And it also has to do with not shouting over the mayor, who's the presiding officer. The mayor can yank any one of our choke chains anytime he wants to, and all of the mayors I've served under have done it to me. I remember Mayor Swiegel's going, Councilmember Moylan, we don't need a dissertation on this. And I thought, I actually wrote a dissertation, Ron. I wasn't giving you a dissertation, but it's his call if he thinks I'm done. That's like the basic level of deference that you have to the mayor. Whether you like the mayor, whether you agree with the mayor, if the mayor tells you you're done, you're done. You don't shout over the mayor. That makes these meetings, that's the most embarrassing thing about these meetings, is making us, when people are shouting over each other. That should never, ever happen at a council meeting. And when in doubt, the mayor makes the call as to who has the floor. It doesn't matter who agrees with whom. You just don't do it. It's incredibly inappropriate. That and the constant accusations of being unethical make the vice mayor correct. We either do something about it or we're condoning it. I've never seen it be this bad. I frankly can't wait till January when I'm off this council, because I'm embarrassed to sit here when stuff like that is going on. We need to have some kind of minimal standards for conducting ourselves in public. And one of them is you follow parliamentary procedure, and another one is you don't accuse people of being unethical.
Thank you. No other further discussion. Please vote.
The vote is 4 yes and 2 no by Council Members Meyering and Whittum, 1 abstention by Council Member Davis. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next item.